My name is Margaret Ann Windsor. Peggy ANN Childers is the name that was given to me in 41 when I was kidnapped from Buckingham Palace and dropped off in Moulton, Alabama, a pigsty. I was given the name Peggy Ann Dempsey. Married name was Childers. And it was the name of a twin. Peggy and Carl Dempsey were both dead, and they were killed by their mother, Lina Dempsey. And thus the cover-up there of others that broke the law, and I pay for the crime. My uncle, go ahead and say this, my uncle, George the Sixth, illegal monarch, Roosevelt, the Kennedys, Joe Kennedy was ambassador to the Rothschilds, Rockefellers, Bilderbergers, later Henry Kissinger, and et cetera, et cetera. The American government was behind it, and the New World Order. My kidnapping, takedown of my dad, Edward VIII, who was married to my mom, George O'Keeffe's sister, the artist. My mother's Claudia Ruth O'Keeffe Windsor. I put this in a previous tape. I'm going to go ahead and say it again. Matthew Dempsey, James Matthew, was the only male in that clan, Dempsey clan. He made a life service out of the Army. He was a master sergeant. Okay, after I found out about being kidnapped, I could remember him coming into, maybe more than once, but that night I really remember because he was upset and he went screaming into the kitchen, if you call it a kitchen. And he said, "But you fed her to the pigs, but you fed her to the pigs." So later they fed the real Peggy Dempsey to the pigs in the pig pen. Now, whether she was dead when she went in, I don't know. Carl, the twin, his death certificate too, was changed to coincide with the date given me of January the 7th, 39, that I grew up with using. So that became a problem when the real birth certificates of the twins emerged. The state of Alabama had to make them coincide with the date of birth given me, I grew up using and everything. They just marked through it. Like everything else you can do it to me, it's illegal, so what the heck? The law doesn't work, it doesn't work. So I'm going to show you that as much as I can. I've copied it, but here it is. This is Carl. Okay, they've marked through it, as you can see, hopefully, and they've got January 7th. Now, they had a different year. They had 38, so you don't see that, but they put 39. Lina Dempsey was the mother. And this is Peggy, the name I grew up using. And again, they've got January the 7th. You don't see the 39 on there, but that's in all the records and stuff I have on me. From the state of Alabama, by the way. Now, that being said, Annie Dempsey Carter, was a sister to Lina. Next to the youngest in the family. When I had the Hustler car, I went by there in 85. I felt like I had some backup so they wouldn't kill me. Later I had to go back on foot with no place to go. So she kind of had me there, except the Paris and the Carlisle, Kentucky sheriff's office were on my side. They weren't for the criminals this time. Now, she had been a teacher at Lexington Military Academy. Um, when I confronted her with the hustler stuff and what I knew, and the Brits had told me, she confessed that her mother, uh, which would be the grandmother of the twins, had told the family to lie and keep it quiet about the murder of the twins and about my real name, because Lionel Dempsey would have faced the Alabama gas chamber. So I do want to get this in here. This is the way this country's treated me. When they broke the law against me and all that, they blamed me for it. It's almost like the twins being born illegitimate and they got blamed for it, okay? They didn't have anything to do with it. But in my case, the laws were broken against me. But at Kentucky, it was, I guess, the last of June, but they were having a TWA, or it's a rural electrical thing. Anyway, they have a year-round feast or picnic. So Andy Carter, I had to go with them. I couldn't be left alone. I had to go with them like they're guarding me or something. I am their prisoner. I might let something slip about their good behavior. They go to church every Sunday. Wow. But they went to this picnic, and it's a big outing, and it's under a tent. So she makes me sit by her. She won't let me out of her sight. And they played the Star Spangled Banner, or God Bless America. Well, I don't stand to salute the American flag. The cold-blooded killers that stole me blind, tortured me in my country. Excuse me. So she's almost like hitting me on the leg. Stand up, and salute the flag. Well, I didn't. A little later on, what really was cute was there was a big trunk, and they were having some kind of skit up on stage that we were watching. Lo and behold, they opened the trunk, and out jumped a Brit with a Union Jack. I thought, wowie, how cool. I think she was put aback because she knew something wasn't, somebody knew I was there. So when we left, though, she gave me a dressing down. How dare you sit there and not stand and salute the American flag? Now, can you believe this? This is the attitude the Americans have had all along. So they did it to me. Ha ha. I'm supposed to like them for it. So now that I want to get to, I'm chemical sensitive. And that sounds cute, but it makes your body attack it, your immune system attack itself. It can be deadly. It can be hell on wheels when you've got an agency of the government using it to torture you and move you about. So I'm not going to go into all the places I have in some of the videos where I've tried to stay and what happened on the Appalachian Trail and all this. I'm just going to go to this because I've made a full circle or a square, if you want to say. This is the first place that was Section 8 HUD. When I started getting a little money back, coming back, I got in '06. And it's Edinburgh Square. Well, Edinburgh you associate with the monarch, or Edinburgh, Scotland, castle. Now, I'm not going to go into all this stuff. So I've been through, I had to leave there because this is all the sanction of HUD Section 8 woman. Her last name is Palmer because the maintenance guy there was her husband, Palmer. But she was over Section 8 in what happened later in the retirement in the HUD. Crater, which is a prominent family here, that was her name before she married. But anyway, they've used HUD and the agency itself, which is funded by the federal government, to do these things to me where I lived. I stayed there 6 months till I couldn't take it anymore. I was always so sick, and it deteriorates your kidneys, your liver, etc., etc. Now then, I'm going to skip to the next one, which was Richfield. And I got to say, that was pretty. That's just the name. Um, but the same thing happened later, and I had to leave and break another lease. You don't see what's making me break the lease, and the law is broken against me. I should be able to breathe clean air, not be tortured, and I do mean tortured. It's like putting a bee deliberately in a room with you when you're deathly, you could die from it, and it's used as a murder weapon. Well, that's what they've done with me, with my rooming and sealants and polyurethane and industrial varnishes. I mean, all, they use the heating and air conditioning system the most as a murder weapon. So Richfield was the same. And I'm going to jump to the next one, which is Joseph's Dream in Bedford, Virginia, next door here. It's owned by Reverend Moore out of Washington, North Carolina, a black minister. Now, he owns a whole bunch of these, 23 or so of them over this state, Virginia, and the Carolinas, federally funded. Bedford was brand new on July the 1st of 11 when I moved in. The air conditioning immediately went out. And then I could go into telling you the rest of the mess, but I won't. This happens everywhere I go. Then the fumes and and I get so sick and they pretend it's not happening. They moved me to another new unit. Well, look, same thing all over again. Except I'm looking out my back kitchen window up the mountain right behind me is the Bedford Memorial, which Tom Hanks thinks is so great. Point being, I'm watching the British flag fly by the American flag and then calling the Brits their allies and friends. I'm the monarch, they know it. Victoria II, the legal one. And never acknowledged, and I'm having to watch it when I know that the Brits are hostage just like me. We are not allies of the people who have stolen us blind and made us die fighting for them. How stupid. So I ended up, I stayed exactly 7 months. And just before I left, they brought in a retired SEAL, Navy SEAL. Made a big to-do about him, wrote him up in the little paper, the community paper, while I'm garbage and trash to everybody. Oh, I came back over to Roanoke, and I'm leaving a bunch of stuff out. You can't tell it. But I was trying to get into something else that I could afford. So I hadn't committed a crime. They'd been committed against me. But by breaking the lease, it makes me look flaky. You don't see any of the truth in it. So I applied. Moore has a brand new one in Christiansburg, about 60 miles from here, near Tech, Virginia Tech. Brand new, only 4 people have moved in. The manager's name is Scott, Mrs. Scott. Point being, I applied, and she came back with, she was told to do a background check and everywhere I'd worked and lived. Well, this is federally funded, HUD. Just lived in the one over here. She could check with them if they told her the truth. So I'm denied. She won't give me a reason. You have to, supposedly, according to the law, but then the laws never worked for me anyway. All this that's happened's been illegal. So I demand a reason. She says, well, if you pursue it, it won't do you any good, I promise you. I reminded her it's federal. She didn't care. Finally, she did send me, and I have that. Somebody hasn't taken it. That I'm an undesirable tenant. So where do I go from there? This is what's still being done to me. I can't live any longer. Where do I go from here? I wish it would be told and the world had to see. The law is broken, what the Americans are really like when they've stolen your money and they're doling it out as aid to somebody else, or I could go on. I'll stop and wish the truth would be told, and people would pay for the crimes, even if you had to pull them out of the grave.